Alright, so here we have game number 2. The map is still on Manchuria. That will be changed any moment now. I'm not sure what it is going to be, but the players do know, and obviously will make civilization choices based around that map. It looks like it is going to be Arkansas. What civilizations are we going to see? By the looks of it, Kynesie straight up going for...
He'll play Japan.
Japan. And it seems like a good choice, on this map. A strong civilization anyway, and a strong... Well, one for him to be playing. GiveUAnxiety cannot play British. He has played that. He has every other civilization open to him except Iroquois and Ottoman, which have been disabled in this event. We'll have to see what he picks. What do you think his response will be?
I think he'll play something like Germany, like something that's just a comfort pick for him. I don't think he'll play Amir, which I think is wise. Maybe something like India could be okay. But interestingly, when we watched Kynesie play his round of 64 matches, I casted his round of 64 matches against Soap McTavish with Sam and Ryan, and Kynesie opted for Japanese on Arkansas as well. And he nearly lost to Soap's Russian on this map from a good contain on Soap. So certainly, his Japanese style has some weaknesses, and he's going to be playing this. He's going to be playing likely the same style on the same map once again. So we'll see.
Yeah, we shall see. Picking up the French by the looks of it, similar to the German that you were mentioning. I imagine we'll be playing France with a similar style to Germany. Obviously going to be going most likely for that sort of semi-FF timing pressure that... Oh, actually, I guess you can crossbow pike. It is possible versus...
Yeah,
they're both reasonable.
The thing about Kynesie, though, is like you almost can guarantee that he's going to go with like the super defensive style once again. Like he will almost guaranteedly go with some sort of like colonial militia oriented build. So
yeah.
I don't know that crossbow pike is necessarily going to be that great against.
Yeah, so you think definitely the timing pressure.
So I think it's more likely to see like a Musk
Looks like he's happy with the matchup, though. Has now just chosen to click in as France versus Japan. We are now heading into game number 2. GiveUAnxiety versus Kynesie. The score is currently 1-0 in Kynesie's favor. Spawning in the... God, where do they spawn? Is it north or left or bottom?
Left and right.
In the left-hand side of the map.
Spawning.
In the colour blue. Of course they spawn there. I know this. This is Arkansas. As the French, we do have GiveUAnxiety. Saving recorded game. Starting with, by the looks of it, one wood crate there and a coin crate. So, unlikely to see a trading post out of him, which is unfortunate. The extra trading post would be really nice for France. That extra XP rolling in, makes that fortress a bit stronger. But not going to be too different. Could still get that market up, and there could be a wood treasure nearby. Going to get that. I would imagine market up and hunting dogs is fairly normal for France. But definitely worth noting that the early trading post is unlikely to be a thing here. But Japan, as always, it doesn't really matter what their crate starts are. I imagine they prefer having extra wood, but always going to get that consulate. Ally themselves with the Portuguese, send Heavenly Kami, spam up some shrines. And just go for that sort of colonial age boom. There's the consulate going down right now. Let's take a look at the explorers. Anything interesting? We do see a 95 wood treasure over here. Looks like...
I think both players have eyes on that as well, because the native scout ran up in that direction to begin with.
Definitely see some early contention there.
Yeah, and just to note, I mean, you did mention that it doesn't matter for Japan as much. It does really matter. Japan much prefers to have a 300 wood start in any situation where they're going to take pressure, just because getting that consulate up that much earlier and being able to really get out that first shrine without having to slow down all your villagers chopping wood like Kynesie is currently having to do is very, very valuable. And unfortunately, he's going to have to
only just putting these back on food as a result of not having the extra wood there. Who do you think is more favoured by not having the extra wood start then? If you say is that useful for Japan?
I think it's more in French's favor to have a coin start than it is in Japan's favor,
Yeah.
but that also comes from fairly biased Japanese standpoint as well, where regardless of the matchup, I'm always going to want to have 300 wood. Like anytime I don't have 300 wood, I feel very uncomfortable with. So
It does manage to get the trading post up by the looks of it.
no
wood. Yeah, it looks like he full collected 200 wood. Oh, actually, he's 12-10 and GiveUAnxiety has not built a house, has gone for the trading post start, not building a house here or a market, has overpopped his villages, queued up to 9 villages and clicked the 3 vill shipment and overpopped at 12. This is a non-standard play coming out of GiveUAnxiety. And I don't know if Kynesie is necessarily going to expect anything like this. He can see the trading post on the map, so if he does identify that, he could know that something's coming. But GiveUAnxiety, known for his standard play and for playing, a fairly by the book games.
Yeah, the thing though that I worry about is this just playing right into Kynesie's hands? Like, Kynesie wants you to play aggressively into his style. Like, his style is good at fending off aggression. His style is very good at, being like, I've got walls, I've got colonial militia, and if he overcommits, too many resources into basically ramming like muskets or crossbows or pikes or something like that into the impenetrable force that is, Kynesie's town center with colonial militia, that's a situation that Kynesie's probably just fine with, and they could play into his hands moving forward. But we'll see whether or not GiveUAnxiety has something different in store. Maybe he's got some sort of clever build. Maybe he's going to do some sort of like Musk semi-FF. Just because he's 12-10ing, I guess, doesn't mean he's going to have to commit to some sort of super hardcore all-in pressure.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it was just really banking on having the trading post and was hoping for the 200 wood start here. Perhaps he does. We'll see what happens. But fairly good treasures for Kynesie, picking up a villager there. He picks himself up, that big chunky wood treasure, and now finding himself 135 XP, which is definitely a big chunk of XP, especially since you get XP as well for killing the 2 black bears. I think overall the treasures have favored the Japanese player this game.
I reckon GiveUAnxiety straight up effing here. Like I think he's just gonna straight FF, get 2 falconets out as early as humanly possible,
and then just hard pressure
and just ram 2 falcons down Kynesie's throat and be like, deal with this.
Oh boys, here we go. Has got all the coin he needs to age up now. In fact, 22 more coin than he actually needs. So we'll see what he actually does with all this coin. Maybe he's going to be making hussars then if he's not going to stop collecting coin.
Or perhaps maybe more intelligently just make like 5 muskets and just like start sieging down some of these shrines. It's fairly low hanging fruit.
Oh, stable! What is going on? Okay.
I don't know. I don't actually know what's happening.
Is this the build where you make 5 hussars, you ship 3 hussars, you have 8 hussars really, really early on, and that pretty much kills anything that comes. Not that you really want to kill anything that comes out of the barracks, but
it just doesn't make any sense to me though. Against Kynesie's guaranteed like turtle style, like look at what he's got back in his base already. He's got a full wall going.
It's fully walled.
Yeah, maybe it is though. Like 8 hussar, like it's the 8 hussar build, but what is 8 hussars going to do running into all these walls?
He's up against Kynesie. Thinks, Kynesie's going to start. How frequently does Japan start with Yumi archers? Perhaps because if that were the case, 8 hussars would absolutely destroy any Yumi start. But if it's Ashigaru musketeers, is he just banking on just one thing happening? He's going to be very upset coming to see this wall. He's hurt his economy so much from the 12-10. And now he sees this wall, there's just no way into his opponent's base. Even more walls going up inside the base by the looks of it. Wow.
Yeah, Kynesie could see
there is an entrance.
As well.
He can get inside.
But Kynesie sees those 3 hussar, and he should know like that's a 3 hussar shipment. Like you don't roam 3 hussar around the map usually, and you're always going to have resources to make more than 3 hussar. That's a fairly good tell that your opponent has shipped 3 Hussar as their first card, especially combined with that early of an age up. And this is going to be a really easy century pop for Kynesie whenever he needs to do it. I don't know that he's explicitly going to be able to get much out of this. And
and by the look, that wall being finished up, and there's just no way. Well, he could get the 1 Vil kill, but that's all he's going to achieve by the looks of it so far. I don't think he's picked. That's the first Vil he's picked up, I think.
Yeah.
2 Ashies come out though. That's not much of a defense, but as you say, does have access to centuries whenever he wants to call them. 8 Crossbowmen is his follow-up shipment. They have almost arrived here. Do you think this pressure is? I don't know. It feels. It doesn't feel like. It feels like Japan is going to stabilize and then win.
It feels like it's not working at all, honestly.
Oh, 5 Ashies pop out there. At least they, only gets a little bit of damage in, but still. Not
and I mean these 8 crossbows, like just the amount of distance they had to walk, it just doesn't feel like it's been worth it. They're gonna take so much damage, like running around these walls, just trying to get in range to actually do some actual damage against these Ashigaras. And despite the fact that like Kynesie has been forced to spend a lot of villager seconds inside his town center, he's killing a lot of the units, and GiveUAnxiety's really all in here. Like, let's not forget that. Like, he did a 12-10. He shipped 2 military shipments as his first card, and it looks, by the looks of it now, he's planning on aging, but he's used a lot of his early game economy into really not accomplishing that much. And Kynesie, although he has been slowed down, is still sitting at 130 shrine pop, still has up a barracks, has decent infrastructure, and I don't think he's too displeased with where he's at right now.
I don't think he is either. Oh, 5 Yumi's popping out. These crossbowmen, sit down. Oh wow, the door just opened and that really frightened me. I don't know. Okay, I'll close that. But there's 2 ways of looking at this, right? There's as you know, the rush and the boom, as everyone knows, and the rush is I'm going to damage my own economy in the hope that I can damage their economy more than what I would get from booming. And by the looks of it, he slowed his opponent down a lot, but he slowed himself down even more than he slowed his opponent down, I would say.
Yeah. He is aging up now. He will have about a card when he gets aged up. And I think we'll have to assume that it's going to be 2 Falconets. And if Kynesie can come up with a way to deal with the 2 Falconets, the game is over. I mean, look at GiveUAnxiety's economy. He's just building a market now, has only 19 CDBs at 9 minutes.
Oh, that lack of 4 CDB is so brutal. It's such an efficient shipment, and not sending it is blasphemy. But if you want to go with this aggressive style, sometimes you catch him off guard. But I don't know, as you're mentioning, these walls in Japan generally, it feels.
Yeah, and even when the 2 Falconets get here, look at how much infrastructure they're going to have to blast their way through just to get to something that actually matters, like the walls, the consulate. None of this stuff up front Kynesie actually cares about. He's going to be able to send his bestiaros right now if he so chooses, and then he can care less whether or not his consulate goes down. He still gets the passive effect from the Portuguese alliance, and whether or not he has the consulate up or not.
Does that reduce the cost of walls? I guess it would.
Yeah, it does.
Wow, that's a fairly interesting interaction I haven't thought of before, but definitely relevant considering the quantity of walls he's built. Oh, the Wonder does go down. Certainly something he wants to do. But if 2 cannons is on the way, would it be wiser to stay colonial and mass units in response to it?
It doesn't matter. It's not even on the way. It was a 1,000 wood And I don't know that it really matters. It almost feels like GiveUAnxiety's dead in water right now, just because
he doesn't trying to catch up desperately.
Yeah, and I mean it's so hard to play from behind at this point. I mean, Japan's got a good eco. Look at his shrine pop, 160 shrine pop. He's got Heavenly Kami. He's sent 4 Vils at least once. He's got a market up. Look at the market upgrade differential at this point. I mean, Kynesie's got his 2nd cherry gathering upgrades. He's got basically everything he really needs. And I mean, Placer Mines is just now finishing for the French player, and it's just such a massive game of catch up here now. And I just don't know if he ever is going to catch up. And certainly 1,000 wood is not going to help him catch up. I mean, I guess he can drop a second town center and start
Yeah,
to try
and that
and
is
get
exactly
some
what he's
sort
doing.
of and get some sort of villager production going again. But I mean,
And
we
this
have to
is
realize Kynesie's going to be able to do the same thing now.
he can do the same thing, and he's already got more villagers, significantly more, and the shrines behind it, and the upgrades behind it. Just this extra TC. It's going to take a while to pay off, but it is a very give you anxiety style thing. You often see him building town centers,
Extra town centers, yeah.
extra town centers. Yeah.
It's I think it's an artifact of like him being an Age of Empires Online and Age of Mythology player as well. That's just kind of more the play style in those games as well. And I think he just kind of adapted that play style into his Age of Empires 3 gameplay. And I don't know that this is really going to give him what he needs though moving forwards. I mean, Kynesie shipping 1,000 wood of his own, going to be able to pop down a couple of town centers. Finish up his shrine population, improve his infrastructure, get up, a stable, a second Rex, everything he really needs, and
all of these walls, it just seems so random.
They seem random, but they're
are useful.
like they're. It's not like true random. It's this like controlled randomness that he's got that like gives him these paths in and out of his base and just.
Protect
The delay
sections of resources.
The delays that they put in, like, just it makes it so awkward. Gives them chances to like run villagers into strange places that you would not traditionally look to find them, and they can be completely safe gathering from and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, 8 skirms though are now arriving for Give You Anxiety, in which are not really doing anything right now. Perhaps he's expecting some sort of pressure or gearing up to push out. Yeah, here we go. Spells go time, but 8 skirms plus his 3 expos doesn't feel like it's
It's completely underwhelming, right?
Yeah.
And he could be running like headlong into something like 2 or 4 flaming arrows for all he knows. You and I know that Kynesie sent 1,000 wood, but it's very dangerous to be running that 8 skirmisher into an Age 3 Japan player who presumably...
Oh, do we have a disconnection? No, we don't. I was going to say, holy crap, Kynesie, if you DC'd there, that would have been... Oh my god. Yeah, but he does have 4 cuirasses out.
Yep.
And, well, actually, 6 cuirasses, or 7 even. There's a lot of cavalry, but... I still don't think it's enough.
There's an insane upgrade, by the way. So we watched Kynesie, like I was mentioning, we watched Kynesie.
Oh, the archer one. Yeah.
Yeah. There's an insane. It's like a 30% attack upgrade or something like that.
It's very expensive though, but this is the point in the game where it's very strong. If you have archers like Yumi or Longbowmen, wow.
It's like
nice to identify. Not many players identify that those upgrades are there. Clearly, Kynesie doing his homework on the natives that exist on this map and making use of them.
Yeah, Sam brought this point up, and it was so relevant. Like, Kynesie feels so comfortable playing in the third age. Like, you and I know all of the techs in Age 2 and what they can do, right? Because we play so many games that are in Age 2 and early Age 3. Kynesie plays so many games that get to late Age 3 and early Age 4 that he knows those techs like you and I know hunting dogs. Like, he knows the percentages and he knows he knows what they do and like when is the relevant time to get them.
Wow, Age 4 in Q.
Yeah, and it just makes him that much scarier to play against. Like, I would just feel out of my realm of knowledge playing this style of gameplay, and I think that's showing here for Give You Anxiety as well. I don't think he knows. Like, it seems like he's just kind of blundering around. Doesn't really seem like he's got much method to his madness here. He's got a second TC, he's got a trading post, but there doesn't seem to be much coherence to his build, whereas Kynesie's got a very structured idea. He's got these walls, he's got a castle coming up, he's got very specific upgrades in mind at the Seminole trading post, stuff like that. Like, he's just got, it seems like he knows exactly what he wants and he's executing it, versus Give You Anxiety, who's trying to make something up as he goes.
Yeah.
And I mean, It's not really working. He's obviously expecting flaming arrows. He's got
it ready. He's got, he's trying to do something. But I agree with you. I think after the failed pressure early on, holy crap though, 3 falconets just popped out. That definitely spells go time, especially since his opponent just hit up to industrial and hasn't been making units, but does have still a reasonable army to defend this off, and we'll obviously see the shipments coming out from Japan now that he's up. He almost has a shipment ready. But yeah, I totally agree. I think after the failed pressure has just been, he's not out, so has continued to play, but as you mentioned, Kynesie's game just looks so much more structured.
So more fluid. Yeah, it's just like he knows what he wants. He's got.
It reminds me of your analogy when talking about collecting a relevant quantity of wood during transition for specific upgrades. This feels like exactly that. But
it's exactly that, except with age 4 in mind. But yeah, it is exactly that, except we're talking.
Here
about
we go, though. We do have the fight. Can he get off some relevant shots with these Falcons? There's a lot of them. If he can use those culverins to snipe down the flaming arrows, this isn't looking too bad. But he does now have well, they're not honored yet, so thank God. But oh no, the cannons! Oh dear, in hand combat. Having said that, though,
yeah, he's still getting an okay trade. Does have all 3 of his culverins alive. The Cursairs are cleaning up most of the rest of the ranged units as well. So. Not all doom and gloom for GiveUAnxiety here. Was able to clean up that fight fairly well and actually do some pretty relevant damage here.
Yeah, I guess GiveUAnxiety has had a second town center up for quite a long period of time now as well, which has definitely evened up the villager counts. Like he's actually ahead now, I would say, in terms of villagers. Remembering that 1.25 villagers are 1.25 as good for French. Because they're Corells. Doesn't have to
flaming arrows.
Yeah. Sit down. Those guns did a roundabout turn just there. Yeah, he cleared up that army, but look how quickly Kynesie is able to bounce back with the 4 flaming arrow shipment and just training units from his now industrial age economy. Remember, these have got those seminal upgrades and whatever else he wanted. Paper cartridge. He's taken he's got all of those upgrades from his wonder as well.
He's taking a quick pit stop over into Dutch consulate land as well to pick up the bank for the true late game effect. Because why not?
Where is the bank? I'm trying to find it.
Oh my god, Shogun Tokugawa has reached the field. 2 shots of culverin, no problem. Look at that guy, he's a monster.
He's got 198 hand attack. Spank, spank. Units.
You think Mamelukes are a joke. Then you take a look at Shogun Tokugawa's hit points and attack, and you're like, nope. There exists a unit that's a bigger deal than a Mameluke in the game. And
you only get one of these, though.
You only get one of these, but I'll tell you what, that guy packs a punch.
Oh, that's Strellet. What's not even a Strellet, it's a skirmisher.
You get GiveUAnxiety just resigns, yeah. I don't know what else he can do. Like, he just can't clear that army.
Yep. He sees it. Kynesie just playing a super safe style. Not, yes, his opponent's failed pressure didn't work and he probably could have pushed out sooner, but super safe. Goes up to the industrial, gets everything he needs there. Just makes it so he physically cannot lose, even if he could have ended the game sooner. Yeah. No risks were taken here.
See, I like GiveUAnxiety's general game plan here. His general game plan, aside from the very early pressure, was try and control the map, try and isolate my opponent into a corner of the map, and then tech up and have a tech and be late game France, right? Late game France is really, really scary, and he's even got some good cards. He's adjusted his deck, so he's got refrigeration and Royal Mint and food silos. He's got some extra good cards to improve his late game French, but then he kind of did this more all-in-y early game build, and maybe if he had gone with something a little more standard, a 5 Musk semi-FF, and then just parked outside of his opponent's base with 2 Falconets and forced Kynesie to make some hard decisions around what techs he was going to get early in age 3, and not just basically give him a free ride into age 3 and age 4. Maybe he could have powered up a little bit more efficiently and become a little bit scarier a little bit quicker.
Yeah, having said that though, he did keep up in terms of resources not too bad over the course of the game, so it perhaps didn't look as It just, well, it certainly couldn't have been better because of the sacrifices he made early on. But I think GiveUAnxiety going for the all-in build there and hoping it would work. Maybe he feels as if Kynesie is, such a formidable opponent that he has to do something crazy to actually win. Maybe he feels that way, and that was the reason we saw that build. Either way, GiveUAnxiety not really having been given an opportunity to show us that he is, quite a really strong player. As a result of this game, but GiveUAnxiety a very good player. Just this game doesn't portray that, I think, because of the decision he made early on, which could have been relevant, could have worked out, but yeah, as you were saying, perhaps something more standard was better.
Well, and I think we do also have to appreciate the fact, right, that Kynesie is probably like one of the top 4 players in this tournament. Like he's by all means, in my eyes, he's a favorite to make it, to at least the quarterfinals, semifinals, and maybe even the finals. So he's a very, very strong, formidable opponent, and part of that comes to his unique play style, and part of it comes to just the flat out fact that he's very good at the game. So
yeah, entirely agree. I'd love to see Kynesie go all the way to the finals. This guy's games are very, very entertaining to watch. But heading into game number 3, the score is currently 2-0